Hey guys, Evan Oric here, back with another video, and today we're going to be doing a review on the Bandai Biollente figure. Now, keep in mind as we're going to go into this that I'm not referring to the Bandai Biollente vintage figure that I already have, you know, the older one, but this is definitely a figure that I wanted to review and also wanted to get for a while because it released in 2018, this newly released version. People got it because it was the only Bandai Biollente that was actually affordable. And, you know, why not get it? I figured after a while, you know, maybe it isn't so useless getting it after all because it looks way different from the vintage one, so why not give it a look to give, you know? So, yeah, so first thing I'm going to say about this figure when it comes to what I like about it the most is probably the detail on this figure. I really do like the detail on this figure for many reasons. Number one, I think this is the most important to note. Just look at it. I really feel like there's a lot of detail to really explain here. You got the orange color in the middle, we all know from that. We have the really good teeth detail sticking onto the mouth, the little bottom teeth that are literally in his mouth, fangs, good eyes, these like lines that connect, these veins, these plant vines I should say, these like smaller dots poking out of it, and also the minor details on the you know, the arms here that make it look very plant-like as well. These like these vines also going around the arm. The teeth also fairly detailed when it comes to the actual arms themselves. And I really feel like it's just been, you know, on the back here, you got these cool-looking scales. We all know of these from when we look at Biollente. Very cool-looking. You can actually feel them. They're not painted on or anything like that. And the vines, really, this is really nice, really lovely when it comes to detail. And so, yeah, without further ado, let's move on to the next thing I like about this figure. So when it comes to the next thing I like about this figure, it is easily the paint job. Now the paint job on this figure really just has three primary colors: the white for the teeth, the green for the entire body, the orange for the belly and stomach, and the red for the mouth, the inside of the mouth, I should say. So this is easily something that I'd like to pay attention to because look, the paint job on this, I really don't see many scuffs, not even any as a matter of fact. It's just the green is one solid color, so I can't really say the green's the best part, but the booming orange in the middle is really, really lovely and nice. I'm saying lovely a lot. You got the red in the mouth here, it's looking really good. You got the white color for the teeth and all that, that's also making it look, you know, stand out as fangs and teeth. And so, yeah. And so, let's move on to the cons about this figure. So when it comes to the cons about this figure, I have two major cons, no nitpicks this time, which is pretty unusual for me, I know. But I'm going to probably go with the bigger con. I mean, they're equally going to take off good points off the rate here, but still. I guess what's more of a problem with me for this is the articulation. And if you might have noticed why I didn't mention articulation in the pros, it's because it isn't a pro. It's lower than average, and when it's lower than average, I count that as a con. Why is it lower than average, you might ask? Because it has just three joints of articulation. Even the vintage Biollente had 4 joints of articulation, which still isn't enough, but that's even more than this newly released version when they could have done way better. And what I mean by way better, you know, why didn't you have these things in the back move? They have 2 of them, one here, one here. And yeah, you could have probably kept this, and that would have been like 5 joints, and I probably would be fine with that. I would have called that an average. But the problem with this is that it's just 3 joints. You got the head here. Of course, you got the 2 main arms, and that's it. That's just 3 joints, and that's like as much as you might get with a Spark doll, which is the average for a Spark doll. But Spark dolls are different because they're smaller and I guess fine with their joints of articulation. But as a Bandai, this having 3 joints, sorry to say, but that's really not that good. And as for the second con, which is equally as bad, but I guess it's not as big of a con, even though it's quite equal, because if I had to choose, but whatever, you get the point. It's the size of this figure. I'm sorry to say, this figure is just not good when it comes to scaling with other figures that should be way smaller than it is. The vintage Biollente, and by the way, in case you didn't know, I still like the vintage Biollente more than this, but I still like this figure. The vintage Biollente was perfect when it came to scale. When it came to scale with all kinds of figures. This is smaller than Godzilla, your average Bandai Heisei Godzilla, when Heisei Godzilla, as we all know, is like, you know, 2 times less the size of the maybe 3 times less the size of the Biollente in the movies. So size-wise, they got this all wrong. So, yep, that's the second biggest con. So yes, I know I barely do comparisons when it comes to my reviews, but as I mentioned earlier when it came to the cons and how this size thing was all off, I guess I owed it to you to show you some proof, and that would mean that I would show you guys a comparison. So yes, we are doing a one comparison in this review. I'm not going to compare the actual vintage Bandai Biollente to this because, you know, it's really hard to get off my shelf and I'm going to knock everything down. But when it comes to this is the NECA 89 Godzilla. And so, yeah, look at this. This is exactly my point. Look at how big this is. Look at how small this is. You can see the height difference, and it really shouldn't be like that. It should be the other way around. It should be something like, well, I can't really do it, but like this, you know what I mean? But I guess not. And yeah, you can do some tricks with this to make this look bigger if you ever want to film a battle or a fan film or something. But like, you don't want to have to do that. It shouldn't be this way. So that's easily one of my biggest problems with that, and there's your proof. So overall, guys, that's everything I have to say about this figure. In general, I would rate it an 8 out of 10, which is a solid 8 out of 10. It's not a point this, point that. But yeah, I still recommend getting it. 8 out of 10 is, in fact, great. It's actually a great rate. 7 out of 10 is pretty good, but this is a great rate. So yeah, no, it is great. It has its two major flaws, which, had they been fixed, maybe gave it a 9 out of 10, 9.5 out of 10, who knows. But I still recommend getting this figure, even though it's been, you know, I guess I can't really say it's newly released, because it's been out for like 2 years now. But still, it's still something I'd recommend getting. It's pretty affordable. It's around 24, 25 bucks. And for that price, this is pretty good for what it is, I must say. So without further ado, guys, I hope you enjoyed this review. Like, comment, subscribe. See you guys later, and bye-bye.